It's Lebogang Maile versus Panyaza Lesufi this coming weekend. That's when the ANC in Gauteng will finally hold its elective conference. The current deputy leader, Lesufi, and Maile have been in the Gauteng cabinet for years now. They are competing to take over from the provincial ANC leader, Premier David Makhura. For a preview of that leadership battle, we're joined by political analyst Omri Mahwale. Omri, good morning and thank you very much for your time. You know, this contest takes us back to 2018. When Panyaza won that deputy chair position. I remember the regions were split down the middle because you'd remember that Panyaza only won by a mere 22 votes. We're back here now, but this time it's for the chair position. But before we get to who is likely to take it according to you, just talk to us about the current political climate where we're seeing now members awaiting the outcome of those 19 quarantine votes in Ekurhuleni and other members challenging the Sidibeng conference outcome. Just talk to us about the current political climate in Gauteng.
Yes, basically it's a crisis in ANC in Gauteng, but not only in Gauteng, throughout the country. It's crisis inside the ANC because of the corruption, deep corruption inside the ANC by ANC leaders at various levels. And this corruption, of course, manifests itself through from the branches up when the elections are taking place, the rigging of elections, the gatekeeping. So we have all these problems. So this conference between competition between Lesufi and Maile is basically a continuation of the crisis we have since after the effect of the state capture and the ANC going down, declining. And I would say that it's not going to bring any dramatic results. Whoever wins, it's not going to bring any dramatic results for the people of Gauteng. The crisis will continue. The infrastructure in Gauteng, the railways will continue to be destroyed, the cables stolen, and everything ransacked. The manholes in the roads been taken, holes, children falling into manholes. This is not going to change. You know, it's crisis and crisis and crisis. And I'm afraid, you know, it's my ANC, but it's in deep, deep problems. Corruption throughout, and nothing positive is going to come out of it, in my mind. But that's how I would say it now, you know.
That's a very, very sad outlook that you share with us now, because one would have thought perhaps out of the two candidates that there would be one that would be considered somewhat fit for purpose. Because if we had to look into the two, we've got Panyaza. He started his activism as a member and leader of COSAS and then Tembisa Student Congress. And then you've got Lebogang Maile, a born and bred man from Ekurhuleni. He also was leader of COSAS. So both of them, and went on to be chair of the Gauteng Youth Chamber, if I remember correctly. So both of them have strong political credentials. But you're of the view that at this point, where the ANC is, or the current climate in Gauteng, it doesn't seem like any leadership or the leadership of any of these two would yield positive results.
Yes, you know, their background, I agree with you, their background is very ANC progressive. Most of the ANC comrades did not start, you know, at this level being untrustworthy. They started as decent comrades in the past, but they deteriorated. The ANC deteriorated. Right from when you look at the former President Zuma, we trusted him in the past, but he deteriorated. And all these ANC leaders have deteriorated. Most of them are now extremely corrupt and untrustworthy. And so, besides that, high levels of incompetence everywhere, high levels of incompetence. Nothing has been done properly. And so, my own view is that at the moment, Lesufi appears to have done better in education with introducing
Omri, we seem to have lost you there. Oh, we seem to have lost the audio there. Quite an important conversation as we try to actually delve deeper into the political credentials of these two candidates. Mr. Omri, I don't know if you can hear me now. You were still speaking about Panyaza Lesufi and how he has fared insofar as his portfolio in education.
I think Lesufi, his portfolio in education, he did relatively well in terms of modernizing how you know the grade ones and the grade 8s are introduced. but the quality of education in Gauteng is not so good. You know, we still have a problem of poor reading skills. Our children in grade 4s are known not to be good in reading in any language. And that I put squarely on the Sufi and Njumutseka, the National Minister of Education. They've not done well. Because if the children can't read and write, then the Minister of Education at all levels are not doing well. And of course, SADTU cannot be left behind. The trade union of the teachers has been horrible in this regard, has not performed well also. So the country is going down and it's been trained by all these officials from SADTU, from Department of Education. And I'm just disappointed as an ANC member with all this leadership that is incompetent and extremely corrupt.
You know, not to be naive, there is somewhat of a conflation of party and state when it comes to some of these politicians, where perhaps how he's done in government would be reflected upon if he is to be elected the chairperson of the political party. But insofar as his contribution is concerned in the political party, has he worked the ground this time around to get those numbers? Because, like I said, it was a win by just 22 votes the last time. Who do you think has adequately worked the ground between these two men to emerge victorious?
I really don't know, but I think the issue here is about money. It's not about who worked hard and so on. It's money in the ANC. The ANC elections now are controlled by money. You bribe the branch delegates that go to this conference, and if you have more money to bribe them, then you win. It doesn't really matter whether you are competent or not competent. It's about money bribing the delegates, because this is why we want to change these elections of leaders to one member, one vote. At the moment, these elections with branch delegates is money, money, money. They bribe the delegates. I don't know who's got more money between the Sufi and Maile, but whoever has more money is likely to win, because it's about money, bribing the delegates. That's all. There's nothing ethical about it. There's nothing of integrity about it. It's bribing and bribing and bribing. I'm sorry to say so.
Sure. What a sad state of affairs there. Mr. Mohale, thank you very much for your time. That was political analyst Omri Mahuale.